My name is H.A. Goodman, and I'm an author, columnist, and journalist. And to support this YouTube channel, just go to my Patreon link. It is below. Noam Chomsky, in a Democracy Now! Interview, called CIA targeting of Julian Assange of WikiLeaks is a disgraceful act. Take a listen to Noam Chomsky condemning the Trump administration, Jeff Sessions, and CIA's Mike Pompeo, who, by the way, tweeted out WikiLeaks DNC emails. So President Trump stated, "I love WikiLeaks," mentioned and glorified WikiLeaks over 100 times during the election. Then you have the future CIA director actually tweeting out WikiLeaks DNC emails and then saying WikiLeaks is a non-state hostile actor, which then makes him actually trying to accuse Assange of something so absurd, implicates the CIA director, because the CIA director utilized WikiLeaks DNC emails when it suited him. Check out Noam Chomsky.
WikiLeaks, a hostile non-state intelligence service, calling Julian Assange himself a demon, and said he's not protected by the First Amendment. Your thoughts?
Well, I think it speaks for itself. WikiLeaks has released lots of information that governments don't like. It's overwhelmingly information that citizens should have. It's information about what their governments are doing. And perfectly natural that systems of power don't want to be exposed. So they'll do what they can to prevent exposure. I think it's a disgraceful act. In fact, I think it's disgraceful even to keep Julian Assange holed up in the Ecuadorian embassy.
It's a disgraceful act, Noam Chomsky states, and it's definitely a disgraceful act to keep Julian Assange in the embassy. Number one, he's owed compensation by the UK and Sweden. The United Nations ruled that he is owed compensation, and the United Nations ruled that he's being unlawfully detained. But the big issue is this. Noam Chomsky is not only a brilliant man, one of the themes of his philosophy and his advocacy is that governments, the biggest threat to governments almost always are the citizens of their country. So governments often, almost always, view their citizens as human beings who should not know what they're up to. And when Noam Chomsky states these, by and large, WikiLeaks emails throughout its history have informed the public of what their governments are doing, they've given information to the average person that can't be found in the New York Times or Washington Post. And furthermore, most publications, well, definitely the New York Times and Washington Post, would never publish the information that WikiLeaks publishes, which is why WikiLeaks is not only protected under the First Amendment, but its free speech is the basis for all of this. You go after WikiLeaks, you're going to go after eventually the Washington Post and New York Times, because the standard will be different. It'll be, oh, well, you know what? You just talking about something, as opposed to publishing the actual words of Hillary Clinton or the actual emails from the CIA. You just talking about that will be a crime, as opposed to publishing that. So the argument that the First Amendment is at stake, that is very legitimate, a very legitimate argument. If you go after WikiLeaks, you're going to eventually go after the New York Times and Washington Post. But what Chomsky stated that I found so important is Julian Assange and WikiLeaks are heroes, not just because they publish information that governments don't want them to publish, but they publish information that enlightens citizens. And the enlightenment of these citizens, when people know more about what the CIA is doing, or know more about what governments are doing in the name of war or foreign policy or national security or spying, then they can make informed decisions as to whom they're going to vote for, what they're going to buy, how they're going to live their lives. And governments don't want that. So, in a very real way, Julian Assange and WikiLeaks add a great deal of life or a great deal of light to people's lives. Give me your thoughts below. Thank you